Hello everybody, Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today I'm finally getting to the request of my good buddy Daddy Steel, and that is to make a deck centered around Reuniclus from Fates Collide. And before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you like this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, and maybe subscribe. It helps us out a lot and lets us do more for you guys. But anyway, like I said, this deck is centered around Reuniclus from Fates Collide, and I'll be honest, when I first saw the initial scans of this card, I saw that its Link Fusion attack, 10 base, does 30 more damage if Solosis is on your bench, 60 more if Duosion is on your bench, and if Reuniclus is on your bench, this attack does 90 more damage. Now, I got really hyped at first because I thought that the damage stacked. And so you'd be, if you had like 2 Reuniclus on your bench, you'd be able to hit for a whopping 190 damage. However, I actually was very wrong. It does not stack. The only way it stacks is if you have like a Solosis, Duosion, and Reuniclus on your bench. So that is the only situation under which that Reuniclus is able to hit for 190 damage. So that was a bit unfortunate, and it got even worse when I saw that it only had 90 HP. I mean, you think Reuniclus and you think something very bulky, right? With a lot of hit points. Well, apparently the Pokemon's actual stats do not translate to the TCG because Reuniclus has a lot less HP than a ton of basic and stage 2 Pokemon. Like, it has 90 HP, which is not good enough to be able to hit for, well, not to be good enough to be able to survive. So, I mean, it's going to be really tricky to get this deck to work, but I've managed to do it a couple times, so I'm hoping that I can pull it off once again with this live. But anyway, let's just go ahead and get into the Pokemon. We have 2 Shaman for the setup ability just to draw some more cards. I mean, you want to get as much stuff in your hand as possible to be able to set up as optimally, and Shaman really does that. We're running 2 Deoxys for the close encounter, and also for Deoxys to really just take hits until our Reuniclus is able to be powered up in the background and our bench is able to be set up well enough. So that is why Deoxys is there, also to draw some cards for free if I have a Dimension Valley up. I'm running a single copy of Gengar EX. I mean, again, I would like to preface this entire deck video by saying I doubt this is the most effective list for Reuniclus. This is just something that I was trying to come up with to see if this card could work at all, because, I mean, this card, quite frankly, has a lot of flaws that almost completely mitigate its strengths. I mean, for a single Psychic Energy, you can potentially hit for 190 damage, but the fact that it does not stack in the way that I thought it would, and that Reuniclus has only 90 HP hinder it so much to where decks with any type of like speed or anything like that can just take Reuniclus out immediately. But anyway, back to the Gengar. I'm running one of these because it's able to put 3 damage counters anywhere. It's also potentially able to use Dark Corridor if you need it. Basically, Gengar, if you have Dimension Valley, can just kind of hit stuff for free. So, I mean, that's why it is in there, have another form of damage. And then I'm running a 4-4-4 line of Solosis, Duosion, and Reuniclus just to try to have Reuniclus hit for as much damage as possible, as quickly as possible. Now, the whole line has some kind of cool attacks. I mean, Duosion basically just has a little bit worse of, what was it called again? It was called Link Fusion. Duosion has Double Link, which can potentially hit for 100 damage for a single energy, and then Solosis can hit for 40 damage with a single energy. So, I mean, it's like, there are possibilities, but, I mean, this deck really just doesn't hit hard enough, consistently enough, to where it would warrant that much use and warrant competitive viability. But nonetheless, Daddy Steel requested it, and you know what? I'm not going to say no to a request. Let's go on to the items. I'm running 1 Eco Arm just because, I mean, one way that I'm trying to deal with the fact that Reuniclus can't hit for 190 damage all the time, and the fact that it has such low HP, is to give it a Bursting Balloon. Now, you could put an Assault Vest on Reuniclus or a Hard Charm or something like that, but Assault Vest is really just kind of like, it's most commonly used as a counter to Night March, and Reuniclus just gets absolutely murked by Night March anyway, so there's no real point in trying to run Assault Vest to give Reuniclus a little more longevity. So I just decided to go for a deterrent of my opponent attacking Reuniclus, so I just decided to go for the Bursting Balloon to be able to be like, hey, you know what, you can knock out my Reuniclus, but you're immediately going to get 6 damage counters, so maybe just have them think twice about attacking Reuniclus, or potentially not attack it at all. I'm also running 1 Evo Soda, just, I mean, try to evolve Solosis up into a Duosion or a Duosion into a Reuniclus. Now, I could very, very much see potential in Reuniclus if it got a Reuniclus break with some more HP or something like that, but as it stands, I mean, the ideal setup is a Reuniclus active with a Duosion, Solosis, and Reuniclus on the bench. You don't really want to double up on anything. Particularly, you don't want to double up on Reuniclus because having a Duosion on the bench gives you an extra 60 damage, while having 2 Reuniclus on the bench only gives you the 90 from the 1. So having an Evo Soda to be immediately able to evolve is always great to have. 1 level ball just to get some stuff out, like a Duo. Actually, everything in this line can be gotten with a level ball, so you could potentially run 2. I decided only to run 1 just because I wanted to run a few more different tech cards. Actually, I got rid of 1 level ball for the Eco Arm. I found that it helped get more bursting balloons onto Reuniclus to kind of deter our opponent from attacking. So that's up to you. Definitely worth a shot to run 2. Running 2 Rare Candy to get Solosis up immediately to a Reuniclus if you need it. 1 Sacred Ash, because, I mean, as soon as a Reuniclus gets knocked out, you want those guys back in your deck immediately. So Sacred Ash gets more of those more often. 4 Trainer's Mail to somewhat help with the consistency. I mean, this deck is very, very clunky because it's around a stage 2 that doesn't have any longevity. So Trainer's Mail is to try to somewhat help with that. 4 Ultra Ball to get everything out. 4 VS Seeker to be able to reuse our supporters. And then I'm using 2 Bridget to try to get like 2 Solosis and a Deoxys on the bench, or 3 Solosis or something like that. 1 Lysander just because Lysander is so great. 3 of N and Sycamore. Still haven't figured out another line that I would like to use instead of that, so I am sticking with it. And 1 Wally just to get a guaranteed evolution. Now, I know that these supporters can seem kinda clunky given the deck, but given that you want evolutions and multiple of them every turn, I decided that throwing a Wally in there would definitely be worth it, and so I just threw one in there. 4 Dimension Valley, you want to run the absolute max number because every single one of the Pokemon that you're going to be attacking with utilizes Dimension Valley in one way or another. And I mean, you could run 3, but I mean, having 4 Dimension Valley gives Deoxys and Gengar free attacks and allows all of the Reuniclus line to be able to attack for a single energy. I'm also running the 4 Bursting Balloon, like I said, for the reasons, like I said, to try to give Reuniclus like an extra turn to maybe set up or hit for something. And then 3 Mystery and 4 Psychic Energy, just, I mean, Mystery Energy just to kind of mitigate the retreat costs of all of our Pokemon. I mean, if they have a Mystery Energy on, they get free retreat, and then also Psychic Energy is just good because, I mean, it can't be discarded with Enhanced Hammer. And I mean, even though all of these guys only have like 1 retreat cost except for Gengar, I mean, you can still throw a Mystery Energy on there because free retreat is always nice to have. Anyway, I'm done rambling. Let's just go ahead and see this deck in action. Alrighty, we have found one against FHWZ, and man, this is the 7th water deck that I have run into today. That is ridiculous. We do get to go for the coin flip. We do get heads. That is great, and if this is a Greninja deck, we just kind of lose because, I mean, Greninja is able to snipe up all of our Solosies, and there's not much we can do about it at all. But if it's not, then we kind of have a chance. That's what I'm kind of hoping, at least. I'm going to have to... Okay, if this is a Greninja break, then we're just going to have to click X because there's nothing we can do about it. He'll just be able to take like 5 prizes in a single turn. Like, just Greninja's regular Water Shuriken is able to knock out Solosis, and that's unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. Bursting Balloon won't even do anything. Okay, so we have something. What I am going to go ahead and do is actually get rid of both Bursting Balloons because I have an Eco Arm. Go for a Shaman and see what else I can get. There we go. Play the energy onto the Reuniclus, or not the Reuniclus, I wish it was a Reuniclus, on the Solosis, and then go for a Shaman, see if I can get a Deoxys or something. That works. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to get rid of a Reuniclus, and you know what? I'll just go ahead and get rid of both Reuniclus. Ugh, it's not what you like to do, but I mean, I have a Sacred Ash that I'll hopefully draw into at some point, but given what I'm drawing, I kind of have to. I mean, I'll be able to evolve into Duosion next turn. I get a Dimension Valley, so that is great. I could have grabbed a Rare Candy, but no, not for that time being. I'm just going to go ahead and retreat into the Deoxys, play the Dimension Valley to be able to draw more cards, and then close encounter. I could have Sycamored, but I figured at this point it was just better to get like more cards, or not get more cards, keep the Duosion in my hand. And okay, my opponent, well, gets rid of our Dimension Valley. It's not the end of the world. It's kind of annoying, but I mean, he just has to attach and pass. That is great for us. Let's go ahead and Trainer's Mail, see what we can get. We get another Dimension Valley, so I'm going to go ahead and work with that. Let's play this down, go ahead and put the Bursting Balloon onto the Deoxys, put this Solosis evolve into Duosion, put this one here. Please, I would like to evolve, thank you. Play the Mystery Energy right there, and then Sycamore away the rest of my hand, and then maybe draw into another Solosis. We do not, but for the time being, I'm just going to go ahead and close encounter, see what else I can get. I get, wow, I just get a ton of nothing, really. I wish I could have gotten like a... I wish I could have gotten... What do I wish I could have gotten? Oh yeah, obviously. I wish I could have gotten another Solosis. That would have been ideal, or a Sacred Ash to get those Reuniclus back in my deck. If my opponent can't do anything, that will be amazing, because then I can actually get another Reuniclus up, hopefully. And, I mean, a Duosion or something like that, and honestly, I can't decide if I want to just try to end the game early or go for a... Let's see. If my opponent attacks me, then I'm obviously just going to put up a Duosion and then Sycamore to try to search out the other one or two... Well, both Reuniclus. I really need both at this point, but I'm hoping that my opponent plays, because I actually have a decent setup, and it looks like... Okay, looks like he is just going to attach and then maybe pass? Maybe? Or maybe attack. If he attacks, then we're in a good spot. But, okay, Lysander's... dang it. Lysander's in a Duosion. Of course he had a Lysander. That's frustrating. But Duosion goes down. Bursting Balloon is rendered ineffective by my opponent, of course, having a Lysander in his hand to work around it. And this is where it gets kind of annoying for this deck, because what I am just going to do is bridge it, get 2 Solosis on the bench, and then, I mean, attach an energy to the Deoxys, pray that my opponent doesn't have a VS Seeker or anything, and then just go for a close encounter to get some more cards and hopefully get something going. That's really all I have to hope for at this point. Hope my opponent doesn't have another Lysander, because that would just make me cry. And yeah, just kind of had to roll with it from this point. I mean, I guess my opponent can go for an Ice Beam or something to paralyze the Deoxys, but if he does, there's nothing we can do about it. I'm just going to try to evolve my Duosion and Solosis as soon as possible. And it looks like he's attaching another energy. Not sure why, but it goes for a Resistance Blizzard. We'll be able to 2-hit knock out this Deoxys, but that does give us a turn to, I mean, Duosion, then Duosion, then I can attach an energy. I could even Wally if I wanted to, but what I think I'm going to do at this point is just... This kind of seems like a waste, but I think I'm going to go for a Sycamore at this point, just to guarantee that I get something to draw into Reuniclus at this point. Or I just don't get any Reuniclus at all. Wow. Oh, that is annoying. That is really, really annoying. But what I am going to do is just grab the Bursting Balloon to throw onto the Deoxys. Wow, that was very, very, very annoying that I couldn't draw a single Reuniclus, and I... 8 cards in my deck, and, well, there were 8 cards in my deck, and 25% of my deck at that point was Reuniclus. So I'm going to close encounter at this point. Just pray. Wow, don't even draw a Reuniclus then. That's really annoying. And I can't... Where is my Sacred Ash? It must be prized. It really must be prized at this point, but... I mean, my opponent is starting this slow, and I still can't get anything going. That's... Oh, that is frustrating. That is very frustrating. But, I mean, if my opponent doesn't get anything again, then I have a chance. Or he's just going to VS Seeker, pull in a Duosion, and knock it out. But, I mean, at this point, if I can get... Yep, he's going to knock out that Duosion. Man, that's so annoying. But I'm going to go into this one just because if I can get a Reuniclus and a Solosis, I can actually win this game. How many Solosies are there? I'm going to Ultra Ball, get rid of the Bridget and a VS Seeker to grab... Okay, I even have a Solosis prized, so that is scary. But let's go ahead and put a Reuniclus down. Go ahead and Trainer's Mail. Probably grab a Bursting Balloon. Yes, please. Go ahead and put that onto the Reuniclus. And then I think attach an energy to this Duosion and then go for an N. Because if we went for a Sycamore, we would deck out. And at least this way we're still in a somewhat... Wow. Wow, I couldn't draw into my second Reuniclus. There's one of 2 cards left in my deck. Oh boy. But let's go ahead and just put Reuniclus, and then a Duosion back into the deck. Man, that was annoying. But let's go ahead and play a Bursting Balloon onto this Duosion, and then a Bursting Balloon onto this one, and then just hit the Regice with a Link Fusion for a whopping 70 damage to where, I mean, I don't know. He might be able to knock himself out with a... Well, I mean, he gets a Dive Ball, so that is just fine. He can attack me, but he will knock himself out. I made sure that he would have to knock himself out if he wanted to attack the Duosion or the Deoxys to take a prize this turn. So, I mean, like, I don't know. I'm in a rough position. There's no two ways about it. But, I mean, at least I'm able to somewhat get something going. Ish. Okay, it's a Mega Gyarados deck. That makes sense now. But I have both my rare candies are in the discard pile. I mean, like, I only have 1 VS Seeker left. I have 2 N left and a Sycamore, so I mean that's something, I guess. VS Seeker bring in Lysander. Why is he going for Lysander? What's he trying to bring in? Is he going to go for the Duosion? Because that would knock it out. And I mean, it's just frustrating that my opponent gets a Lysander every single time, or he gets a VS Seeker or something to get a Lysander every time, and that I can't do anything about it. So I'm just slightly frustrated at this point. Hopefully I draw into a Solosis or something. That way I can at least... I mean, if I draw into a Solosis, then I can Wally it, and that will be something. I'll at least get a knockout on the Regice. My Duosion goes down, which is very unfortunate. Like, if that had been a Reuniclus, I would have been fine, but apparently drawing... a Reuniclus. Oh, there it is. Thank you for finally showing up. But what I'm going to do is just VS Seeker, grab a Bridget, and then put 2 Reuniclus, or put 2 Duosion onto my bench. I have 1 Solosis left, so at this point, I mean, I just kind of have to hope that I can draw into it. What I am actually going to do instead is, I mean, I could do 40 damage, but I'm going to retreat into the Deoxys to be able to... I think, you know what, I'm just going to start trying to chip away at this Gyarados with an Overdrive Smash. I mean, it'll be able to hit for 90 next turn. But I mean, that's the problem with this deck, is it just like it doesn't really hit hard enough at all. And there's a Manaphy too, so I'm really hoping... Okay, so my opponent is going to Stormy Seas, get plenty of energy onto the Gyarados, but I'm just going to do what I can to survive this turn. Maybe I'm actually probably going to hit the Gyarados with a Overdrive Smash. That way, if I can get like a Duosion or something like that, I get something else. What I can do is try to buy some time, I guess, and then Lysander in the Manaphy and go for an Overdrive Smash for 90 damage. And I mean, my deck is Duosion and Reuniclus, and yet I still can't draw it. So basically, the moral of this entire match was me having everything but being able to draw nothing. And I'm gonna deck out. Like, that's how this game is going to end inevitably. But I can still at least go down fighting somewhat if I can draw a Duosion. Ah, there's one. So I'll be able to hit for some damage, I guess. Link Fusion, hit for a monster 100 damage. Actually, had I gone for the Overdrive Smash, I would have been able to knock out the Gyarados. But at the time, like, considering my luck as it had been going so far, I didn't think it was the best idea. My opponent will be able to Ultra Ball. Not sure what he'll grab. He will be able to knock out the Reuniclus regardless, but Manaphy actually will be 10 HP away from fainting, so that's something. He gets a Seismitoad EX. I mean, that's to be expected at this point. Gets that down, and my opponent will win, but I mean, at least I'll have my dignity, right? He'll have to knock out the Manaphy and all of that. Let's just send out a Duosion. There is zero way we can win at this point. I mean, oh, there's another Reuniclus. I get every Reuniclus I could possibly want, except for when I absolutely needed it. And 3 Reuniclus as my last 3. Oh, that is so incredibly frustrating that I couldn't draw anything. But you know what? Blaze of Glory. Go down. Link Fusion for 40. I mean, even just 10 more damage would have knocked out the Gyarados. But I mean, my opponent can just pass here. Yeah, just knock out the Reuniclus, win on prizes. But you know what? I actually think I would have won that if my opponent hadn't... Well, I mean, if I just hadn't gotten so incredibly unlucky on all of my draws. Like, I had so many different outs, and I just couldn't draw anything. So that was so frustrating, but you know what? I tried, and that's what matters. I mean, hey, at least we finished the daily challenge, so there's that. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, even though Reuniclus wasn't... I mean, Reuniclus just isn't a very good deck. But I decided to try it. I decided to see what could happen, and if I had drawn even decently, I would have been fine. But I just got incredibly unlucky in my draws, and so unfortunately we could not pull that one out. And just kind of a Lysandering in the Manaphy was a mistake. But I mean, at the time, I thought it was the better play, just because I could have taken 2 prizes. Just so happened that my opponent had a Water Energy in his hand, or he top decked it. Either way, it was just very, very, very unlucky the entire match, and yet we were still able to put up a fight. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.